Well, we got a lot to talk about. Record high temperatures in Alaska. It was a cold night for us, but we're warming up now. But the bigger story, we've got a snow across southern Minnesota tonight, a minor one Saturday, and still looking at that big storm next week. So we talked about this blocking pattern that we had earlier in the week, and this is going to be kind of persistent on and off through December. It's easing up a bit right now with this Greenland block. Big ridge of warmth through the North Atlantic over Greenland and also across Alaska, and that led to some record high temperatures there. Well, we were chilly, but Arctic Alaska, northern Alaska here, 35 degrees above normal earlier this week. That's incredible. So Utkavik, which is formerly Barrow, Alaska, well above the Arctic Circle, in total darkness right now, hit 40 degrees on Monday. That's their all-time warmest ever recorded December temperature, beating what had been previously just in the low to mid 30s. So this is looking at the return or how frequent that would be in the modern climate. Hitting the 30s is about a once in a 2-decade thing, but this is a once in a 300-year event hitting 40 degrees. Again, based on the modern climate, which tells us that the climate is changing. So it's really actually changed quite a bit. If we look at December average temperatures, they've warmed dramatically from 14 below zero average to now a 6 below zero average in just the past century. So of course the Arctic area is seeing the fastest pace of climate change. It was cold here this morning again, teens and 20s below zero for parts of northern Minnesota. Single digits even in the Twin Cities, but you get outside of the metro, you can really see the urban heat island this morning. A few sub-zero spots, 2 below in Lake Elmo, 4 below zero in Buffalo, but staying generally above zero within the 494, 694 loop. And now we're on to warmer temperatures and a couple of significant snowfalls. The first one tonight mainly to our south, but the second one, all the colors you see adding up to our north and west. This is storm number 2, the big one that we're talking about next week. So the system for tonight into tomorrow is developing across Nebraska. We already have some rain and snow showers here just north of this low center. That cold high that we've had for the last 24 hours moving on to the east. Sunshine most of the day today, but we'll start to see some high clouds stream off of this developing moisture to the south. Winter weather advisory goes into effect this evening into tomorrow morning for the southern quarter of the state. This is all south of the Twin Cities. The metro not included this, but this is where we're going to see a swath of snow and not real pleasant travel weather tomorrow, I'm afraid, along I-90. So the snow develops this evening in southwestern Minnesota, spreads north and east, gets almost to the metro, but that's about the northern extent of it. Should be out of here by the midday, early afternoon tomorrow from southeastern Minnesota. We'll get some snow in the Twin Cities, but it does look as though we're going to see under an inch of any snow, but it could be a problematic around the morning commute. So here's a look at several different models, all generally starting to agree now on the snowfall being lined up right along I-90 or the Minnesota-Iowa border, where it's going to range anywhere from 3 to 8 inches, and that will be the range, but there will be a couple of spots, I think, that get 6 to 8 inches. And then some snow showers Saturday, a weaker minor system for most of us, but the winds will be out of the southeast, so we're going to get a little lake enhancement. So there'll be a narrow area of maybe 2 to 3 inches along the North Shore. Not a lot of snow, but generally a coating, ½ inch here in the Twin Cities and some 1-inch amounts up on the Iron Range. So again, that's a fairly minor system Saturday as warmer air starts to move in. But then we're looking at the big one next week. Still looking at an upper level low, really deep upper level low, and this is what we call a cutoff low when it's all these closed circles. This means it's just sort of spinning on its own, detached from the jet stream, from the flow of the atmosphere. And these are notoriously slow movers and big precip makers. So rain and snow develops Monday night into Tuesday. Still a question as to do we see snow, rain, or all of the above here in southern Minnesota. It does look as though the best setup at this point, very early, and this could change, is going to be for northern and western Minnesota back into the Dakotas, where it'll be just cold enough to stay as snow. And so when we look at these 3 different models, the American, European, Canadian, you notice all the heavy snow just to the north and west of the Twin Cities. Doesn't mean we won't get any, but right now the best chance of staying on the cold side of things is just to the north and west. But the Canadian model, a little colder, a little further south, gives us some potential for some more snow, and some of the recent American model runs are starting to shift a little too. So it's going to happen over the next several days here, shifting back and forth. But either way, a lot of moisture in that system. And milder temperatures ahead too, which is going to be part of the problem for next week. 30s generally. If we don't quite hit 30 today, we will tomorrow and through the weekend. In fact, maybe near 40. Again, some snow showers early Saturday, quick coating out of that. And then heading into next week, snow probably mixing with rain at least at times from the Twin Cities, south and southeast, and maybe just very heavy snow. And the snow we do get, wherever it happens next week, is going to be that very heavy, wet snow. Not the fluffy stuff, what we call heart attack snow, the really difficult to move around kind. So be aware of that. It's going to be a lot of moisture content.